Friends, this is Scott, and I wanted to start this video with how my weekend, first night, went at the hobby farm. 2:30 in the morning, had the windows open, a little bit of smoke from fires in California blowing through, and that's what I was hearing. And the problem I had was, as you can see, this is a vaulted ceiling, and I did not have a ladder. So I've got a smoke alarm 12 feet in the air that's making this racket at 2:30 in the morning with the windows open and probably the whole neighborhood or community hearing this. So after about a half hour of thinking about it and trying different methods, I just grabbed a stool and grabbed a long board, and I just knocked the smoke alarm right off the ceiling. So that's how I solved my problem. But again, it was a little bit panicky trying to figure out what to do with a blaring smoke alarm in the middle of the night and no ladder. So after a wonderful night's sleep, I first looked at this mess and decided I'm going to tackle this before I do anything else. I want to accomplish one job and get it done. This is right in the very front of the house. I'm not sure what we're going to do with this area, but the previous owner put a lot of gravel in here, and all it is weeds and mess. So I first moved all the trash and the bricks out of it, and got down to where we have the hen and chicks all the way around the perimeter, so I want to keep those, but just have a lot of gravel in here. And this is why I don't use gravel. I never use gravel unless it's underneath a building or something, or a paver patio, because it's just it's a nightmare. You can't really weed it, and the only thing you can do is spray chemicals unless you totally just rip it all out. And once you put gravel down, you own gravel, and I don't want to own this gravel. So I figured I could use some of this in my back driveway, so I'm going to dig this gravel out. But first, this is what I found. Lots of bugs in here. So we got some pretty monster spiders and earwigs all over the place, and a few other choice bugs. So I had some basic bug killer that I went ahead and as I was spraying it around the edges, I broke the handle off the bottle, so I just ended up pouring it all the way around. So there shouldn't be any bugs in this area, because I used a whole gallon in this little section just along the edge. Didn't spend a ton of time trying to remove all the gravel, but I got most of it out. And there's still a little bit there, but I just wanted to get it down to a base level. I'm going to put some different material in here, and this gravel would be perfect for the back driveway. So that's where it ended up. Thinking the plan for this area is either to put a patio, just a low-level patio here, or maybe we'll put in some built planting boxes and make them nice and do more of a kitchen garden along here. So it's the closest place to the kitchen. There's really not a great access to the rest of the garden area from the kitchen, so this might be the perfect place for the kitchen garden. So this is where the 8-wheel barrels full of gravel ended up, and they spread out fairly evenly for about maybe 15, 20 feet on this driveway. I need to bring in a lot more material for finish, but it's a start. So I had to run home because I had come down with a load of chicken compost, but I needed bark, and this is what I'm going to put in that area just so I don't get a bunch of weeds. So I ran home and stayed overnight, and then decided to fill the truck up. But I checked the temperature of this material. Again, it's been quite a few weeks since I received it, and it's still 80, 82 degrees in this. So it's still actively composting, just not as hot as it was initially, but you can still see some steam rising from the pile. So I loaded the truck up, and I did count the number of 5-gallon buckets, and it took 80 5-gallon buckets to fill this bed of the pickup truck. So that's 400 gallons of wood chips and mix. So I strapped it all down, and just so it doesn't blow away, and here's the dent that I had from that trip, and I still got tons left to do. So I decided I'm going to take a trip and take the drive and just run down and dump off this load of wood chips, and then come back and load up another truckload and see when the next time I can make it down to the hobby farm and get some more chips out of here. So I ran down, and it was raining, a pretty good rain actually, so I was pretty happy to see that. But here's the area prior to seeing how far this one truckload of chips, 400 gallons of chips, will go. But it looks a lot neater, at least. And all the greenery around the edges is, again, hen and chicks, and I'll move those eventually, but I'll leave them there for right now. So here's the material that I got down there with, and I could have got a little bit more in here, but maybe it's a little less than 400 gallons. It settled down a little bit on the drive. But I hope this is enough material to complete this area. So I want to do 4 to 6 inches. So as you see here, I'm doing it along the edges first, so you can kind of get a contrast visual of how much material actually needs to go in here to fill this bed up. And it's quite a bit, so I'm hoping I have enough in this pickup. So let's dig into it and let's see what we got. After we're done, I just barely had enough. I could even add a little bit more probably, but so it's mostly 4 inches at least in this whole area. Again, I did have some hen and chicks I'm going to move probably, but this looks like the perfect place to build some raised garden beds the more I'm thinking about it. Mr. Lincoln went with me, and he looks real happy to be here in the rain. Yeah, he's not real content with today's situation, but at least it's not hot, and that was a bonus because it's been literally 100 degrees most of the summer. So here's what I had left. I did happen to take a load over to the school garden also, and then I came back and I loaded up another truck to take down tomorrow to bring some more bark down. I need to get rid of this material. What I'm looking at here is I think it's going to be enough for the chicken run, as well as for maybe 1.5 truckloads back to the school garden just to finish off some areas I need to do there. So this was a godsend, this material showing up in my driveway. It's really going to do wonders. Now here's a tree that they cut down in the front yard, and this is another project I need to do. Is the stump's great, but I don't want a 2.5-foot stump in the air that's got nothing on it. It just kind of looks like an eyesore. So I got to figure out what to do with this stump, and I got to either cut it out or grind it down or do something. Now, I haven't shown anything about the inside of this house up to this point. I wanted to respect some privacy of the previous owners because they've had some property remain here, and they've stayed on for a little while. They're friends of mine. So they finally moved, and so I went in and I've ripped out some baseboards and carpet pads, and still have more to do, but I'm getting ready to patch walls and paint, and then we're going to do some clickable laminate type flooring. But here's a look into the closet, and I still got some staples to remove and miscellaneous cleanup, and I need to pull this trim. I want to go with more of the modern looking, just straight baseboards, and so that's probably what I'm going to be doing here. But got a lot of demo to do and got a lot of holes to patch, and we're going to paint first, clean first, paint, after we patch some holes, and then we'll do the flooring last. But there's quite a bit of work to do here to make it up to snuff for us. So that'll be the winter project when it cools down. But as the temperatures are decreasing, I want to be outside more, so I'm kind of balancing my time. But here's a front bedroom. This used to be the cat room, and you see the cat door. The cats had access to this room, and they took advantage of the carpet by using it as a restroom. So I've got some cleaning to do in here, particular cleaning in this room, as well as a window I need to replace in the front that's broken. But so there's definitely work, and I wanted to give you just a glimpse of kind of the inside, but I'm not going to give a full tour. Be respectful to the previous owners. Lastly, here's a look at the pasture. You can see one place where I've got a trap set, but it's greening up and looking much better. So thanks for watching this kind of scattered video. This was part 2 of the previous video I just did about making planting beds and moving a lot of dirt at the hobby farm. So today was just kind of a catch up on some of the other projects because when you see a huge projects on the line, sometimes it's nice to tackle a few smaller ones just to keep the motivation going. So, well, I appreciate you watching this video, and if you like following me in my journey and living my best rural life in the city and now on the new hobby farm, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. I appreciate your support. Thank you.